Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the DC Camp Branch of Great Millstone. Back for another video, but first and foremost, call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Hagwadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Citations go out also to the Akim out there on the highways and byways, all right? Pushing this truth while aided, of course, by the numerous amounts of videos that are uploaded and go all across the planet, all right, to further edify and push this truth, all right, with the time that we have left here. This is going to be a short video, of course. You should be aware of the shooting that happened here in D.C. Wednesday. And yeah, as usual, they jumped all on it and they tried to spin it, as of course you see right now. This video is from the Dark Brandon website. One tragedy, two realities. All right, how the right spun the D.C. shooting overnight. Didn't take them long. It never does. You know, never let a situation or anything else go to waste. That's the way these bastards look at it. All right, and as you're going to see with the article and some other videos I'm going to show, it would appear that they're trying to win more support for the state of Israel by throwing you know who under the bus again. You know, the proverbial bad guy. All right, so here we go.
Hope you're doing well today. Today we wanted to take a look at how people on the right are reacting to the National Guard shooting. Now, before we start, a National Guard soldier was killed in this attack. This is a tragedy. Full stop. We don't justify violence here. We don't celebrate it. We're analyzing the narratives that followed, not the act itself. So today we're going to be taking a look at a VTuber named Nuxor as he's reacting to a conversation between Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan. And very quickly, we're going to be able to understand where all three of these people sit and kind of the complexity of these different narratives that are beginning to clash. Let's take a look.
The leftists are obviously celebrating that a National Guard was killed because she's a Nazi fascist, and that's essentially where we're at right now in modern culture. But let's see what Tucker Carlson's response was, because he's a right-wing guy. So Tucker Carlson, this is just from yesterday, he did an interview with Piers Morgan. So essentially you got left-wing / centrist British guy, Cuck, interviewing Tucker Carlson, who suspiciously, after years on Fox News being very anti-Islam, went independent, made a lot of friends in specific Islamic countries, and now suddenly is glazing Islam at every turn. So let's see what he had to say.
So if you can read the room, you could see there's going to be a couple of different narratives or ideas that are going to clash. Nuxor is going to take a very anti-immigrant narrative, where Tucker is going to take an anti-Israel narrative, and both of them want to blame their boogeymen. With all that being said, Nuxor does make some good points about Tucker Carlson having relationships in the Middle East. Carlson has interviewed senior Qatari officials, and there's evidence that those interviews were related to a Qatari embassy-linked PR firm, which is exactly the kind of relationship you'd expect when a Gulf government wants a sympathetic media platform from the West. Not only that, but Carlson appeared in Dubai at the World Government Summit in 2024, and he was praising the UAE as a better, safer, more functional place to live than parts of the U.S. Tucker even interviewed the president of Iran.
I do think, again, that the over-amplification of the Islam problem, as people put it, or the Muslim problem, has been massively overstated.
Well, there are two
Well, see, here's the thing, and trust me, I have no love for those Islam idiots, but the thing is, people are tired of America, actually Western society, because it's all about lies, it's all about deceit. And dare we go into the really wicked stuff, all right? It's all full of abominations. In fact, if I can think of what that scripture is, hold on, I can't believe I didn't start this up already. Salakia, while this starts up. It's in Ezekiel. Hold on. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, because they're trying their best to prop this place up. They want it to continue. No, this place is through, and people have caught on. This is Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "Wherefore thus saith the Most High, Woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece, let no lot fall upon it." All right? So, yeah, the whole world, those that, of course, that are paying attention to the things that go on. I say it that way because a lot of Jakes, all they're concerned about is what's going on in their hood. It's sad, but it's true. They have no idea what's just around the corner. All right, why? Because they fan the hand, they refuse to listen. That's on them. We do what we're supposed to do by bringing all this information out, by bringing all these scriptures out, by still telling them, even if we have to prophesy to the wind, as the scriptures say, you don't get it, it's on you. All right? For several reasons. Let's continue.
Terrorist attacks in England done by Islamists every month. 2, statistically, England will see 2 Muslim terrorist attacks per month. Okay? So, no.
Here's a question. You keep complaining about Muslim terrorist attacks. But what has Christianity done over the centuries? Who has more blood on their hands? Who's been behind the scenes manipulating shit? Surely it can't be Muslims. You see the caucasity of these devils. Spin. Oh, let's give it the respect it deserves. Lie, and lie.
I don't think that means it's overstated. It means that there's obviously some sort of integration problem going on. All right, come on, dude. What are we fucking talking about? Yeah, you're trying to be so politically correct. You're literally killing your country by being politically correct.
And that's the thing too. Let me, as a continuation of what I was just talking about, since he went there. Why you talking about immigration problem? Okay, well, why is there an immigration problem? Could it be? All right, that you destabilize these countries where these people are immigrating from. I don't know. It just, could it be? All these countries that you propped up these dictators, they just mysteriously appear out of nowhere, especially here in the Western Hemisphere. These people go to all your schools, they learn all your bullshit. Some of them get brainwashed to the extent that they no longer care about their own people, even if they ever did to begin with. And then when they bite the hand that feeds them, you do what you did to Saddam Hussein and others. And, you know, Gaddafi, but he was, as far as I know, he was never in your pocket, so to speak. That really had to piss you off. Plus, right before he was murdered, what he was doing, which would have really hurt you. And that's established on the African continent their own currency, all right, backed by the natural resources. Oh, that had to piss you off. Well, the JOOs, of course. Your masters. I'm talking about, America. Because that's really who controls shit. Oh, that had to piss you off. So now, here we come with this bullshit again. You know, the boogeyman, the Muslim, the Islam.
Insufferable watching this. Anyway, watch Tucker Carlson's response. Because he, for the record, he's a very right-wing guy. He's supposedly anti-immigration, right? He's anti-immigration in general. Let's see what he had to say.
The problem, as people put it, or the Muslim problem, has been massively overstated.
Well, that's an op, obviously.
Yeah.
It is obviously an op tricking us into hating Muslims. Now, I don't hate Muslims, for the record. I hate radical Islam. I don't hate Muslims, like on an individual level. That said, bro, you have people celebrating the murder of these two National Guards, saying that it's good you killed the infidels, that Allah appreciates it. Like, what are you fucking talking about? What, you want to import infinite of these guys? What do you mean? It's an op. It's an op. It's not an op for the family of this young girl who was just murdered in Washington, D.C. All right, it's not an op for the people that lost people on 9/11. It's not an op for these guys. What are you even...
Is this... I have to question, is this... Can I call it anger? Is this manufactured attitude that he's got here? Why aren't you taking that stance toward the children and people being murdered over there in Gaza by the JOOs? Oh no, we can't do that. You see where I'm going with this? See, what's happening is they're losing support here in America. That whole Charlie Kirk thing, they were afraid. And the thing was, for those of you that didn't know about the letter, there was a letter sent from Charlie Kirk to Netanyahu, and he was telling him that you are losing, you're getting slaughtered, all right, in the social media about this. So what have people been doing for over 2 years now in witnessing the wholesale slaughter of people that can't defend themselves? Just a question.
Even talking about an op. Like, insane. Anyway, it gets better.
Hate the Muslims. No, we know where that's coming from.
I don't like it.
The Jews. He doesn't want to say it out loud because he's a coward. The Jews. The Jews are controlling a narrative to trick people into hating Muslims.
So we find ourselves in a very interesting moment in time where an event like this would normally rally all of those on the right around Donald Trump. But because that civil war had these two different factions so embedded in their ideas, we can clearly see how these two different ideas and narratives are not compatible. But again, so very clear to see how Nuxor wants to blame all the problems on the immigrants, Tucker wants to blame all the problems on Israel and the Jews. We're seeing everything that the right has to offer on display. Anti-Semitism, anti-immigration, blaming other people for your problems, embracing the boogeyman.
That's America.
This is the outcome of 10 years of Donald Trump's behavior and all of these different people emulating it in their own unique way.
which is like, bro, what are we talking about? I don't know. I don't remember the last time a Hasidic Jew did a terrorist attack. I don't remember that. But I can tell you that Muslims have perpetrated 80,000 terrorist attacks since 9/11 over the world. 80,000. So, like, at the same time, like, what are we even talking about? There is obviously a radical Islam problem. Now, this isn't every Muslim. This isn't everyone from a Muslim country. But there is a radical Islam problem. You have to be blind not to notice it.
So where does this leave us? A terrible act of violence happened. And from the second the news broke, the story stopped belonging to the people who lived through it. Instead, it became raw material, something to weaponize, something to spin, something to scare you.
Exactly, something to weaponize. Look at this. Let's see, where is it? Again, this is downtown here in D.C. Actually, we used to camp. We camped here a couple of times.
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kash Patel, FBI Director. We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where two of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out.
Why? Because they were deputized. For those of you that didn't know.
On that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice.
Listen to how he's talking. All right? That's very important. I'm going to continue, and then we'll come back to that.
I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Now listen to this.
ED might not just be below the belt. It could be in your head, too. Here's the thing about traditional ED meds. Viagra.
Listen to the Assistant Chief.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are...
What? The chief said they brought this attacker the shooter was subdued. He's in custody. Kash Patel said they're looking for the one that committed this heinous act. Could he just have misspoke, or... Let's continue.
Are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor?
Thank you. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the D.C. National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Appiah, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark, and we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction, and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting.
Curious. Remember, this is just days after a federal judge ruled that there was no reason for the National Guard to be here. It's something, as an expression, say, if it's too much of a coincidence to be coincidence. and now you have this shit. And this guy, turns out, he's a CIA asset. He aided America in killing his own people. Think about that.
Individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI Director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no suspects.
Sure, so I can start out. Again, Chief Carroll from MPD. So both the individuals, the Guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time being treated.
I believe one has
since
since
died. We have
died.
no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Have you got any sense of motive?
No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. There's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive.
Guardsmen armed, sir?
The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Did they get off shots?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Yeah. After all that, being armed and all that, that didn't stop what happened. You see, as they would say, there's nothing you can really do about that lone gunman, that, someone that just, you don't have a beat on, even though we know that this was a false flag, all right?
Explain how the suspect was apprehended.
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
And he was shot by a National Guard member?
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot that individual. It's not clear at this time.
Chief, you know what kind of weapon was used?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division Secret Service were in the immediate area as well.
What kind of weapon the alleged perpetrator used?
We do not know at this time. It's still in investigation.
How many shots were fired?
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Has been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking into all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on, I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard.
Shut up. So the thing is, you have to remember this is their favorite fall guy, right? I'm talking about America. Jake, as a last resort, but the thing is with these Muslims, they've in some U.S. cities, they've been trying to establish Sharia law. And I'm like, wait a minute. They've got that much power? Well, let's just look at this article here, The Muslim Boom, How Islam is Quietly Transforming Our Cities. And this is just from a little over a week ago, all right? America is changing, not overnight, but steadily, and in ways many Christians are only beginning to notice. One of the most significant shifts is the rapid growth of Islam, a faith that through its adherents, numbers, civic engagement, and cultural practices is increasingly shaping American communities. This is not a call to fear or hatred, really. It is a call to awareness and spiritual preparedness. Islam in America is growing both through higher birth rates among Muslim families and through immigration from countries such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, and various parts of Africa. Well, that's done. That's through now. Younger, family-oriented populations combined with steady migration ensure that Muslim communities will continue to expand in numbers and visibility. Recent surveys highlight the scale of this growth. The U.S. Mosque Survey, conducted by the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding, in collaboration with Faith Communities Today, found 2,769 mosques across America in 2020, a 31% increase from 2010. New York alone hosts over 720,000 Muslims, and at least 15 states have Muslim populations exceeding 100,000. I know this is a little backwards, but forgive me. Let me do this as soon as it comes up. This is the copyright disclaimer. It says under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, just so I wouldn't forget, go ahead and get that out of the way. Now, remember, these Muslims have given, the thing is they can't deal with them like they do us. These people have countries to go to. So they can only do so much. I mean, ultimately, they can send them to Guantanamo, some of these torture sites. But let's get something else here. So, as you can see here, this has been going on for a while. This is 8 years ago. Protesters gathered in cities across the U.S. to say Sharia law is incompatible with the Constitution. Well, Western society, in a nutshell. 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Do Muslims believe Sharia law supersedes the Constitution? This is 7 days ago. The threat of Sharia law in American cities is now a reality. All right, that was 7 days ago. Let's see. 2 months ago. 8 days ago, Texas bans Islamic Sharia law. All right. 15 years ago. All right, so we got that out of the way. Now, here's your this guy here, as soon as, I don't know what's going on here, hold on, because I'm clicking it and it's not going to, oh crap, hold on, all right, I don't know what's going on here, now it wants to freeze up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But this is a town hall meeting. And there's Edomite here, for those of you who haven't seen this. Here we go.
America's 250th
Hold on.
birthday is...
God dang it. Who cares?
So it's a good time to get...
We're in that 250th. Here it goes. I hit the wrong one.
The Muslim community is looking to drag us back. They're looking to oppress women, oppress homosexuals. Get the f*** out of my country.
Because we all know that your version of Christianity, all right, is all about giving homos, protection and putting women over men, everything opposite of what the scriptures you profess to hold dear teach.
I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here.
Welcome back to Media Madness. My name is Thomas, and today we are doing hungover Media Madness. This is going to be very difficult for me to get through. We had an amazing award show at the Dow Awards yesterday, and our glorious reporters Meg Brock and Caitlin Richardson came runner-up for one of the grand prizes. Anyway, today we are covering Jake Lang dropping bombs at the Dearborn Council meeting, infuriating every Muslim in the room, according to Eric Doherty.
Yes, because Dearborn, Michigan, even though they say New York has the most, Dearborn, Michigan has a whole lot of Muslims there.
Rusty-ass motherfucker from Florida's Voice News. I don't like the look of this guy. He looks like a pug. I don't like him. This guy looks like he's from Pennsylvania. Like, he looks like Philly trash, personally, I think. Anyway, let's watch the video.
1800. The world was 30% white. Fast forward 125 years, we are down to 7%. The Islamification of Europe is particularly aimed at the destruction
this is the thing. It's important to note that the world was a considerably whiter place in 1900, for example, because we were in the middle of industrializing. If you look at any population pyramid when they're undergoing their periods of industrialization, which in 1900 was sort of the prime of that in the West. Remember, the Western countries were the first countries to industrialize. The birth rate skyrockets. Instances of infant mortality plummet to basically negligible levels, while having still pre-modern fertility rates. So you have the total fertility rate, which is the average number of children that are...
And this, too, was a time where people such as himself decided, well, who gets to live and who dies? This was, if you recall, the era of eugenics taking off. All right. And we're still in that, 125, give or take, a few years later. All right. Because these weak-ass Edomites, these so-called white people, they're having trouble keeping up with other populations as far as the birth rates concerned. All right. So what do if you're evil pieces of shit like this? Well, you poison the food, you poison the water. You do exactly what the John D. Rockefeller Creed says you do. In your medicine, you make the people think that you're helping them. All right. But in all actuality, you're actually killing them slowly.
Woman will bear throughout her lifetime, is still at pre-modern levels. Western countries are no longer industrializing. We are post-industrial, which means that our birth rates have plummeted. This is not something that is endemic to Western society either. This is just one of these purely economic things. When an economy becomes mature...
Oh no, your people are suffering the most, and there's a reason for that. All right. Of course, he's not going to tell you that. But yeah, the Most High is checkmating these Edomites.
Sure enough, the birth rate goes down. I mean, we see this in Italy, we see this in Japan, South Korea is the worst in the world. China is a little different because they had the one-child policy, and that sort of up their population pyramids in a lot of unexpected and weird ways and unique ways. The reason that there are so many Muslims now, when there didn't used to be as many, is because those countries are industrializing now. Africa is industrializing now. That's why their fertility rate is so high. That's why their population is ballooning. And once they reach a post-industrial state, which they will eventually, probably in the coming decades, then it'll go back down. So, I mean, like, I don't know. It annoys me when people...
Despite your meddling, but who's suffering the most? Still, it's them. You know, and a lot of this over here in America, these recent policies by Trump and his administration, you know, they just recently, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say discredit, but a lot of the professions that were largely, a large percentage of whom were women, those degrees, as far as the loans, I'll put it that way, no longer considered professional. All right, they did some kind of, you know, financial trickery or whatever you have. I don't know the exact word to put it, but all in all, they're trying to get their women back in the house. Yeah, after spreading that democracy bullshit all over the world and destabilizing other people's cultures. See, there's so many scriptures about all the traps that you set, all the snares, and how that was going to come back on you. Oh my God, Psalms 7, 15 and 16, Psalms 9. Yeah, it's so many others. It's over for you people. All this, of course, culminating in Obadiah. This is prophecy happening right before you people's face, and this is what we're trying to tell you. All right, we see what's going on, and we also see Jacob's trouble. It's already here. All right, because hey, who's going to suffer the most? Jake.
People have no understanding of demography and try to make these like sweeping conspiratorial claims. I don't know. It's annoying.
White people. The Islamification of America is aiming to meet the same goal.
That being said, I don't love that there are massive Islamic exclaves in the Midwestern cities. I mean, that's bad. We shouldn't be allowing that. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. This guy's just an idiot.
Our people, white Christian, European, Western civilization, we built the arts. We built the Colosseum.
You didn't build
ran the
dude.
world
I mean,
into
what?
The industrial age. And now, this people here, the Muslim community, is looking to drag us back. They're looking to oppress women, oppress homosexuals. They're looking to...
So wait. Your attack against the Muslims is on the basis that they're not woke enough? Yeah, they're oppressing women. They're oppressing homosexuals. He just made this, like, very rousing speech about, you know, how amazing white people are and how we ushered in the industrial age. I mean, dude...
Look at the guy in front of him. Councilman Mustafa. The expression on his face. Oh, man.
These things don't really connect. You see what I mean? Like, you can either be the base racist guy, or you can be, like, you know, a critiquing Islam on the basis that it's not woke enough. What's it going to be, dude? You kind of have to pick one.
Yeah.
Why? And also, why are you wearing a vest?
Destroy everything that makes America great. President Trump.
Everything that makes America great. Women and homosexuals. Yeah.
Send ICE into Dearborn. These people have overstayed their visas. They're
Mustafa Hamad is deceiving.
And they have come to this country to destroy our way of life. We know exactly your laws and your book about lying to our faces. visas.
Mustafa Hamad is deceiving.
And they have come to this country to destroy our way of life. We know exactly your laws and your book about lying to our faces, pretending to be Americans, wearing your suits. But that doesn't happen anywhere else where you guys are in charge. There are 53 Muslim majority countries. And in all of them, it is tyranny, destruction, it is shithole living.
Actually, I'm just going to say this, use this as an example. But there's some kind of order there, as opposed to here. What do you have here? Some of the things I mentioned earlier. These Edomites thrive in chaos. This is what you have in America.
We have to call it.
It's not necessarily. I mean, like, the Islamic countries, there are a lot of nice ones. I don't know. I mean, a lot of them are shitholes, but not all of them.
What it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma.
And I'm not defending
Somalia,
Islam at all.
okay? We don't need it here.
I don't think they eat shawarma in Somalia.
In Michigan. We don't need it in any part of America.
They don't eat anything in Somalia.
We have a right to self-determination. Damn right. Founding fathers.
Well, shouldn't everybody else?
We have a right to self-determination. Damn right. Founding fathers.
Damn right.
Founding fathers.
Hear, hear ye, hear ye.
For white Americans. Amen. And we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4.
This guy's a Wignat. Have you guys ever heard the term Wignat? It stands for Wigger nationalist. This is what this guy is.
And you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country.
Well, a lot of that is because you so-called white man is a cuck at the end of the day. I mean, your women don't want you.
Places that you fled.
Bro, they're outbreeding us.
We don't want you here.
I mean, they are, but like.
Out of my country. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here.
Okay. I mean, guys, we got to figure out a way to politic better than this. This is fucking stupid. This makes the whole right wing look like idiots.
And the people, the veterans, the World War II veterans, that's blood has soaked for our constitutional republic, are taking a look around Europe. They're taking a look around America, and they're saying, what the hell?
They're dead, dude. Like 99%
We have been taken over without a single shot fired. You guys are outbreeding, insidious.
Oh my god, I can't do this anymore. This guy's a fucking tard. You know, this is really all I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few, you know, like a minute or so, a little over a minute left. But, you know, I'll put the link in the description box. These guys, you know, it's really comical. To see them like this, you know, after all the wickedness these people have done. Now they're up here bellyaching, crying, all right, because things aren't going our way. We're the mighty, mighty white man. You know, it's over. It's over. So with that, yeah, I'm going to call it. It's not much else. But let me get this, because a lot of our people, I mean, you're being led by the nose once again. And they're trying to get you to get on that pro-Israel, anti-Muslim bandwagon again. This is Sirach 5 and 15. You have to know what's going on. You have to want to have the, to be motivated enough to not be fooled again, as the song says, you know. Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Unfortunately, the majority of them, especially when it comes to Jake, they just accept what's in the news. Sad, yeah. Yeah, so with that, once again, I hope whoever views this video has been edified. All right. Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. All right. This lying bastard here, the FBI director. I mean, they talked all that shit before election, and now look at them. All It's a whole lot of stuff going on. Again, stay prayed up. Pray continually, as the scriptures say. All right. So with that, remain circumspect. So with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.